Hello, everyone.
Hey guys, welcome into the podcast. On today's podcast, we are going to be talking about how a taken in hand submission really does help fuel the confidence within the head of household.
And of course, hit that like button if you're enjoying this content. And as always, hit the subscribe button because every time you do, it makes me smile.
And if you want to get bonus content, you want to help support what we do here, the best place to do that is over on Patreon. So a link to our Patreon is down below.
So this might be an interesting concept to those of you, especially maybe the head of households, to think, wait a minute, my confidence can be fueled by my taken in hand?
So on the podcast, we have referenced in the past this kind of cycle between the head of household and the taken in hand, this feedback loop where his confidence creates a natural submissive response within her, and then her submission kind of creates that confidence within him to continue to exercise his authority. So that's what we're talking about today, is kind of how her submission really does continue to give him the confidence to take his authority to the next level in the relationship.
And you know, it's this idea of this feedback loop, right? That I never thought of a relationship really being this loop. You almost kind of think that it's a straight line. Really, as you're being effective in what you're doing, and she is being effective in what she is doing, you realize, oh wow, there is in fact almost a give and take in a very positive way.
As you start to grow in your roles, as you start to grow in your relationship, you start to notice that those things don't require effort as much anymore, and it is because you get that feedback. So as a head of household, you may not necessarily feel super confident in the beginning. It may feel very uncomfortable, very foreign, but if you kind of present with confidence, then that creates a response within the taken in hand where she responds in a submissive way. And that submission may take effort in the beginning. It's not going to necessarily be this natural response. It's not going to be something that you just like fall into completely without any effort whatsoever. There is effort behind being able to submit. But when you submit, it creates this, this response within him to say, this is good and I can continue to do this knowing that it's going to continue to yield positive outcomes.
Head of households, you need to really try to pay attention to the small victories that you're going to have. She submitted to a correction. She submitted to a punishment. And over time, what you're going to see is that you start to get the confidence to know, oh, I can do this and I can lead the relationship and not have to worry about whether I'm making the right decisions or not. And you begin to have that confidence to where more and more she will respond as she sees that in you.
There is a certain level of confidence that you have to present with in the beginning as a head of household. You definitely can't go into this unsure of yourself. At least you can't go into it with an uncertainty that can be interpreted by your taken in hand. I've heard that a lot of head of households do have a certain level of uncertainty in the beginning, but I've also talked to their wives, and that has never been detected. And so it's not a bad thing to be kind of maybe unsure of yourself or kind of not 100% certain that you're doing the right thing all the time. That's kind of a natural response. So don't misinterpret what we're saying to say that if you have any type of uncertainty that you're somehow doing it wrong. No, you're going to have uncertainty, but really the key is to not let that show, to present with confidence, to present with a certain level of conviction in how you're doing things. And when you present that way, then that creates the submission within the taken in hand.
Remember, head of households, that you are going to make mistakes. Don't let that destroy your confidence. You need to still have confidence in that you're going to make a mistake, but you still need to follow through. You don't want to lead with trepidation. And the other good point that I think that you made, you do in fact, by submitting, contribute something to the relationship. You are contributing to how that relationship functions and to the health, more importantly, of that relationship. And so taken in hands, realize that your submission is a vital part to making this relationship work, just as much as him leading you and being able to follow through with helping you stay with the rules and accomplishing the goals that you have for your relationship.
How has my submission to you and how that has grown over time, how has that helped you as a head of household?
I think in many ways. First of all, I didn't realize, I felt like I've always been a confident person, sometimes to my own detriment sometimes. But I didn't realize in our relationship when we first started, I didn't really have confidence. I didn't have confidence in my ability especially to make any decisions. I didn't have any confidence in figuring out where I could even lead our family. And so your submission has helped me get the confidence that I, again, didn't realize that I was lacking to lead, to make decisions. And this may sound very, very strange, but it's given me the confidence to be within my masculine energy. Don't underestimate how that really helps your head of household. But it really has helped me grow in even self-esteem, something I didn't even know that I was lacking in. But all of these things have helped me realize, wait, I can be confident. I can lead. I do make good decisions. I do have a good vision for my family. And more importantly, I can lead a human being into helping them become a better person. I can benefit our relationship, and I do have answers to certain problems that can help her grow and to help our relationship grow. And so in all of those ways, your submission has helped me become a better person, a better leader, and hopefully a better husband and a better father.
Mm-hmm. So you've talked a lot about making decisions for discipline, following through, and how the confidence to do that really is fueled by me coming under that authority and submitting to that process. But how has that confidence and ability to make decisions, how is that really translated into the other areas of our relationship? Because I don't want to give the impression that domestic discipline is only in the discipline. It's really within the whole relationship.
Yeah, I think where the biggest thing that I've seen is you being able to, I just talked about me being in my masculine energy, how I've been able to see how it's helped you be more feminine, and you've been softer. I've seen this, not that you lacked in kindness, but I feel like you've been just kinder and tender and gentler. And what I have enjoyed as the head of household because of that is I think it's underestimated in our society how important it is for men to feel strong, to feel like our spouses feel protected by us, that they feel that we're someone that they can trust. And so it's those times where I've underestimated, but I don't anymore, how it's been helpful to me when you have just come to me and given me a hug and just, or wanted to cuddle with me, and you've just told me, thank you for leading me, thank you for protecting me, thank you for helping me get better. Don't underestimate how powerful that is, taken in hands to thank your head of households for leading you and holding you accountable, because it gives us confidence there, but it makes us feel stronger. It makes us feel that we're fulfilling a purpose more than anything, a purpose that's bigger than ourselves. And in turn, again, this loop that we were talking about, by you being in that gentler energy, it helps us be in that stronger energy and have that confidence to follow through with. There have been moments, even though I know it's not true, where I almost feel like, well, I can do anything, because she has given me the confidence to feel as though I can do anything and do it well.
Has your growing confidence, has that created a higher level of responsibility within yourself. Like, I know that we talk a lot about on the podcast of how a head of household, because he is leading, because he is the authority, and because the taken in hand doesn't really have the ability, and it's not within her role to manage or correct or hold accountability to her head of household. It's not within her role to do that, and so it is part of his role to self-manage. Has that confidence helped you understand your responsibility more?
Absolutely. I think that by gaining that confidence, it's helped me realize, we've talked a lot about on the podcast of not burdening her with unnecessary things. That there are certain things that the head of household needs to say, no, I need to take care of that. And it's not that I'm keeping things from her, but I'm making sure that the things that I am concerning her with or pointing out to her things that actually matter to the relationship. And so it's given me the confidence to say, no, I can handle certain things on my own. There are certain things I don't need to concern her with, and there are certain things I can shield her from, protect her from. That was not the case before, at least with me, and I think many of you head of households would say the same thing. It does breed this confidence of we can be the protector, we can be the person that can manage our households and help manage our relationships in such a way that they're being productive and not destructive to things. So absolutely.
And has it helped you be able to maybe be more particular on how you run your household? Kind of feed into the things of your preference rather than, because I think that a lot of times you talk a lot about, and I think that this is a really good motivation, this is a really good thing, but you talk a lot about making sure that the taken in hand is fulfilling her responsibilities, that she is living up to being the best version of herself that she can be. And that's a really good thing, but at some point you get to have a preference of how you lead your household, and that may not always be able to be pointed to this is making her a better person. It's more of just, this is my preference, so this is how things are going to be done. And it's not in an arbitrary way. It's not in a way that doesn't make sense. It is still good for the relationship and good for the household, but sometimes it's not necessarily good for her in particular. Not that it's bad for her, it's just that, the reason why you're asking things to be done a certain way is because of the relationship or the household or your preference. It's not necessarily serving her growth and development in particular, even though it is, because submission and obedience serves her growth. But you know what I mean. Right.
She may not see that in the moment, even that is benefiting her growth.
Or that it's not only for her growth.
Only for her growth, right? It's for the overall picture, right? Because yes, as head of households, one of the things that I realize is and as you grow in confidence, you will realize this. Your responsibility is not only to your taken in hand, it's for your entire household, it's for your children, it's for everything that you do. And many of you know, one of the reasons many of you may have started down this road is that if your relationship is in chaos, it affects every aspect of your life. It affects your job. It affects everything that you do. So what this does is by saying, yes, I have certain preferences on how I want my household to look and how I want it to be run. And I want those things because if those things are not in place, it's going to affect how you lead, how the peace that happens in your household, whether you have peace or not, how whether or not certain goals are being achieved that you see that are important to be achieved, and it's going to affect you outside of your house. It's going to affect other aspects of your life. I've talked a lot about how when this relationship is working well, every aspect of my life seems to fall into its correct place. And so yes, you must definitely use the confidence that you get to really, even if she doesn't see it at the time, to really use that confidence and be all right with saying, I prefer and I want things to be done in this way, in this order, at this time, even if you do not understand it. And eventually, Aria will tell you, she comes around and realizes, especially when there is a success that happens, oh, this is why he wanted things a certain way. And then that will even help your confidence more to continue down that path.
It will. And I think that the more we submit to our head of household's authority, the more that we kind of come under that authority and do things the way we are being told to do them, that it does create this like positive feedback to us when things go well, when things work out. And that gives us the confidence to almost be unbothered when those assertions are made, because if I know that Coda is being very, very thoughtful in his decision making, even if I don't understand why he wants things a certain way, if I have the confidence in him to just submit to that process and to understand that he's very thoughtful in his decision making, and there must be a reason here. I don't necessarily have to understand that reason, and it doesn't bother me to not understand that reasoning.
Your job, head of households, is to make sure that you keep that big picture in mind, and you know the big picture. And you don't necessarily have to communicate what that is, because that can be overwhelming to her. But the point is in having that big picture in mind, you hold her accountable to the details, and you make sure that you are communicating what those details are. And then in the end, again, you'll get the result, and she will see, oh, that's why he was doing that a certain way. And so lean into that confidence that you have the big picture. It's okay to say that you have it and that you want to go for it, and lean into that confidence, because it will make things better for you and for her and your whole household.
Thank you so much for joining us, and we will talk to you next time.
See you later.